Hi, I'm Reginald, and I play for TSM Snapdragon.
So you guys play for League of Legends. Can you talk a little about esports and how you got involved?
So, how I got involved in League of Legends and esports was I just played League of Legends simply when it was in closed beta, and League of Legends started to grow, and I decided to make a website for League of Legends. So I made SoloMid.net, and I kept playing the game, and I was fairly good at it. So I always kept playing and playing because people like what they're good at. And I was always at the top of the North American scene where League of Legends all started. And I kept playing, and the scene kept getting bigger. And I found it was viable to make a career of this. So what I did was I put college on hiatus actually, and I took a break, and then I pursued pro gaming and building my site.
What are your thoughts about how pro gaming and esports has grown since you first got involved?
So League of Legends is like an esport phenomenon, and the game exploded into new heights. It wasn't like StarCraft, it wasn't like Halo, it wasn't like Counter-Strike where it took 10 years to see good numbers. Now, like, you see League of Legends, you go to an event, you see the seats completely filled out, you see around 200,000 viewers online watching, and you see a huge prize pool. Before, esports was barely on its feet. People that was in esports simply did it because they loved esports, and the pay wasn't nearly as good to like be able to live. You'd have to always do something on the side. Like if you look at casters back then, right? They would have to work. They'd have to have a second job while casting. Right now, you can see like other casters. They can basically give up their job and be a full-time caster and support a family. So esports has grown to new heights.
What is it specifically about League of Legends do you feel that has made it so popular, even more popular than other MOBAs that came before it?
So I think the reason why League of Legends is so successful is because they're very accessible, and that's probably the biggest thing. It's like if you think about accessibility, they're free to play, and all you have to do is download the game and try it out. Isn't that the best ever? And they make money off of transactions. So it's just very accessible. Other games you have to pay a monthly subscription, or you have to go to the store and buy it. But League of Legends, all you need is a computer, you download the game, and you're fine. And I think that is why League of Legends is the biggest game in the world. It's the most accessible. You look at other sports, you look at football, you need lines, and you need like a field. Soccer, you can play anywhere. You just need like to have a chalk, you make a goal, and you try to hit the ball in. It's like League of Legends. League of Legends is like the soccer of the real world, I would say.
What would StarCraft 2 be?
I think StarCraft 2 would probably be. I think football is really huge. Okay, let's see. I don't know how to compare it. It's hard. It's StarCraft 2 you have to buy a game, so it could be like any other sport, hockey. But hockey is really expensive because it's actually a very pricey sport to pick up. I would probably say like volleyball or like any other sport, baseball. I don't know. Like there's like the cost differentiate. Like the cost difference is very huge, you know, between the sports. But League of Legends is free. That's why I think it's so big.
Whenever I do a story around League of Legends, I always get a lot of comments from StarCraft 2 fans. Can you give us the perspective from an insider of why sometimes it seems like the fans from these two games don't seem to get along?
I think the biggest reason why StarCraft 2 fans do not like League of Legends fans is because they're jealous. And the reason behind that is because StarCraft is the original esport. StarCraft is why there's esports nowadays. It's because they started with everything. They had a really big scene in Korea. They made it so players had a salary, and they made it viable as a sport. And what happened was League of Legends exploded onto the scene. The viewers are phenomenal. You see people quitting their jobs, stopping school, and a very large number in the US to pursue gaming. And StarCraft never had that. They took 10 or 12 years to build that up. And League of Legends was there within 2 years. And they're also getting rewarded more. Whereas other StarCraft players, they work their asses off, they play 10 or 12 hours a day, but it just so happens that League of Legends is much more accessible and just much bigger in general. That's just how I feel.
What are your thoughts about the explosion that we've seen post League of Legends of all these new MOBAs, including Lord of the Rings and most recently a DC Comics MOBA?
So if you follow Riot, right? Riot never expected their game to be this huge. If you followed Dustin Beck, he expected his game to be able to hold 20,000 concurrent users, and I think right now Riot's holding around 3 million concurrent users at any time. So you see that huge gap, right? And since Riot exploded and Tencent invested into Riot, they went global really fast and they expanded really fast, and I feel like other MOBAs are trying to go into that market because they're like, oh wow, this market share is so big. All I need to do is get a small market share and I'll be happy, and that's what other companies are going into. But they're going into it with a really huge disadvantage because Riot's already there, and it's really hard to take over. Like, and a good example would be World of Warcraft. There were a lot of World of Warcraft clones. People would make it, and what WoW would do was they see a good idea and they just take it, implement it in the next patch, and the game would even get better. So I hope Riot follows the same route. They find something new, they see something new that another game developing company is doing. They should just take it and make their game even better. So it's really good that there's competition because competition really just drives innovation. And I just hope that game developers just get more and more motivated and creative to build good games.